Oh, Lawyers for Workers is live. Oh, we in it. I ain't gonna lie. I want to click off this page. Here we go. Bang, bang, bang. This is a chef. All right, Chef Morgan. You got to start cooking your food, though. This shit look undercooked. What type of black woman don't be cooking her food like that? Let me see. Lawyers for Workers. Hang in there with me, chat. Lawyer for Workers. All right, we in here. 21.
Let's get some people into this request.
I'm gonna have to join my boy. Y'all want me to join?
Tell I don't know. Tell the baby to join. Everybody tag the baby. Get him in here.
The baby.
We want the truth. Tag Ben Simmons.
My boy Messi. I like it. Get active.
Well, Quan didn't testify. If you watch my videos, you would know that the
Tell him Big Ack is in here.
defense was trying to get Quan to testify. The prosecution wanted a 1-week continuance. Tory said, I want this trial to end. I want a result. I'm not trying to wait a week and fucking maybe this shit goes left and we do this all over again.
Yep. Oh, he added me. Let's go.
What else do you guys want to know? What can I tell you? So up next, what we have going on is, let's see, they're going to do openings. They're going to do the closing statement. The prosecution is going to do their closing statement. The defense is going to do their closing statement. And then after the prosecution and the defense do their closing statement, we'll get a final chance to do a rebuttal. We got Akademiks coming in here. Let's see if he, I think it's going to add.
My brother, what's going on?
Yo, they got to get me off this roller coaster, bro. I'm about to let go of my lunch. Every day I walk in there and it's just twists and turns. Whew.
Hey, now, man, we're in the end game now. This is good. Hey, let me ask you a question. I think that, Tory was trying to pull a fatality move with, Jaquan Smith popping out at the last day. Obviously, I think it's a good decision to not do the continuance and just say, fuck it, let's go to the jury. He already has the up, in my opinion. What do you think about the strategy of not introducing him earlier, though?
Wait, what'd you say about earlier? I just missed that last part.
What do you think about not having Jaquan possibly introduced earlier, even before Sean Kelly? Because theoretically, he would be more of a credible witness than Sean Kelly, who was watching it from maybe a bird's eye view, but 15 feet away, give or take.
Yeah, we wanted Quan. I think ultimately the way it plays out, the defense wasn't able to get him today. They got him today. Prosecution wants a 1-week delay. And defense says, we like where things sit. We don't need this 1-week delay. We don't need Quan. Send it to the jury. That's where we're at. And like you said, bro, this is the home stretch. This is going to be done by the end of the day. The jury will then all go home. And first thing tomorrow morning, they'll start their deliberations. And it's Christmas this weekend. They're going to start deliberating on a Friday in a case with fucking, I don't know what the hell has been said in this case. I've been covering it for 8 days. I don't know what to believe, right? So, I think it's going to be a quick deliberation. I think we get a verdict Friday afternoon.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, not that this has any bearing. And, we've been watching, I've been posting your updates. Your updates have been completely fire. I suggest, I see you started a subscription. I think anyone who's interested in, some, a more legal mind, a lot of rap, they should definitely subscribe to you. But we've been watching all you guys do updates. You guys have been in court, and we appreciate all you guys. And this is, what is it, day 8?
Day 8, yeah.
I ran a poll, 10,000 people voted. Over 93% is feeling like it's supposed to return a not guilty verdict.
Yeah.
93%. Granted, we're not in court. Maybe we're missing certain things. We do try to look at multiple outlets that there's no bias effect. I seen you had that one lady on your update earlier, and she said she came into this saying that Tory's guilty, or she thought that he did it, and she changed her mind. Is that the kind of feeling you're getting, after 8 days of this thing?
Well, here's one feeling that I'm definitely getting after 8 days of this thing. Everybody agrees that it's a fucking circus. And at this point, when they hear those jury instructions and they hear shit about beyond a reasonable doubt and what that means and whose job is it to put on a case. And if it's a fucking circus, who has to take that L? And so my overwhelming feeling is that everybody, regardless of what they believe, everybody believes that this is a circus. And you have not clearly shown me beyond a reasonable doubt that this man assaulted her. That's what I think. I believe that firmly in my heart. I think there are some people who can definitely debate and argue about who shot who and who's wrong and who's right. But if you ask yourself, has the prosecution proven this case beyond a reasonable doubt? It's a circus. And the answer to that is resolutely no.
Hey, so this is what I thought going into today. I was very, I was wondering how the instructions to the jury would go down. Tell me more a little bit about that process. The prosecutor and the defense get to have any, input on even the wording, or is it just up to the judge?
It's pretty standard stuff. There's a big book, and they sort of pick from it based on what charges there are and what the case is. I mean, there's some stuff that they're going to read in every instruction, which is who has the burden of proof. What is the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt? What does that mean? That means that you have a firm conviction that it's more likely than not that this is what happened. They talk to you about how to evaluate evidence. What is direct evidence? Direct evidence is if you look outside and it's raining, you can say that and testify it was raining on that day. Circumstantial evidence. What's circumstantial evidence? Circumstantial evidence is somebody comes into your house and they got a rain jacket on and they're wet and you didn't look outside, but you can maybe put it together that it's raining. And so you can testify on that day it was raining. I know that based on circumstances. So there's this very general shit that's going to go and get said that they hear all the time. And then there's the stuff about the crime. So you're going to hear stuff like he has to have had known that when doing the thing that he's doing, in this case, presumably firing the trigger, that it's going to result in an injury to Megan. And so if there's a struggle over a gun, can you prove that this man knew that he was letting a gun off to hit this person? I think, I don't know about that charge. So there's all those instructions. And then there's other instructions which are specific to the case. So there's an instruction about immunity. And that, prosecute the juries, the minds are turning in their heads. So you're going to hear the judge, and the judge sits there and he tells you, you may have heard about people getting immunity in this case. And I want to tell you the differences in the types of immunity that exist under the law. There's use immunity. Use immunity means that the statements that you make in court cannot be used against you. And so the jury knows, okay, Kelsey got use immunity. There's transactional immunity. Transactional immunity means that you cannot be charged for anything that happened that night. And here, Kelsey does not have transactional immunity. And so the instruction basically explains to the jury that although Kelsey's statements cannot be used against her to charge her, she can still be charged for stuff that happened that night. There's the instruction about the defendant. You are not to take the fact that the defendant has not testified here to mean anything. It means nothing. You're not supposed to talk about it amongst the jury when you deliberate. The defendant has an absolute right to not take the stand. That is what he is doing here. That means nothing when you decide his innocence or guilt. So, there's this very general stuff, and then there's the stuff that's specific to the case. It's done in a sort of a neutral manner, but it also hits issues that for a juror are going to register. So they're just telling you immunity, but as a juror, you're thinking, so that's kind of how that works.
Hey, so all right, so let me ask you, and I think this is why I was asking that question about the instructions, right? I'm going on my narrative, so I'm into my narrative and my theory. There's a struggle for the gun. If let's say Kelsey had the gun, she may have aimed at Meg, may have shot before. Tory grabs the gun. Maybe the gun goes up in the air, shoots a couple times. Both their DNA might be on it. It's kind of inconclusive, right? There's definitely GSR on both. What would actually mean possession of the gun for Tory? If it's a struggle for the gun, is that possession of the gun, and could he be charged with discharging the gun? I personally think the aggravated assault, I think that's out the window. I think they can't prove that. But could they prove that he fired a shot? Sean Kelly did say he saw Tory fire in the air, right?
That's right. And the question becomes, did Kelly say that he saw Tory firing the air on his own, or was Tory firing in the air, or did Tory have his hands in the air and firing was going off when there was a struggle ensuing, and the testimony is not clear. And the problem is people like Twitter, right? And you can't tweet testimony. I'm sorry. I know people like to do it, but you can't tweet testimony. Tweeting testimony makes no sense. First off, it's hard to tweet testimony. It is, honestly, and I say this to anybody who's, it is or people reading, it is impossible to tweet testimony when lawyers do not present evidence the way it's supposed to be presented. And so when the judge allows lawyers to keep asking the same question 7 times, which should not happen, but it's happening in this case and it's normal, it kind of happens. But then if you try to tweet it and you try to tweet individual questions and responses as if that was what the testimony was, that is a thing said in the testimony. The entire testimony, like, you got to watch it, bro. If you haven't watched it, you can listen to my commentary or somebody else's take on it. But you either watch it or you read the transcript or you accept the commentary. Otherwise, it makes no sense.